America's Big Three are often criticized for accepting the defeat against competitors on their own turf. The Detroit legacy that took decades to build up by previous generations of brilliant designers and engineers is supposedly in jeopardy, and at times we even hear accusations that the US automakers are selling out to China and Europe. However, things have not always been this way, and the golden age of American car making gave the world some of the most iconic and generation-defining automobiles. Today we'll return to those times by showing you some of the most famous models of the past and their original conditions, and those restoration projects that combine the development of modern engineering with retro looks. Subscribe to Automotive Territory not to miss the upcoming informative videos. Ring the bell and enjoy the ride! Ford Mustang GT convertible by Revology. Despite the fact that Plymouth Barracuda beat Mustang to the market, becoming the first ever pony car, it is the latter model that was consequently granted the status of the historic icon. The Stang still marches on, but modern iterations with 4-cylinder engines or even electric motors do not really live up to the legacy of the model. So instead, we'll present to you the restoration project by the Florida-based Revology Cars. They officially license Ford and Shelby components to build bespoke muscle car masterpieces like the stunning 1966 Mustang GT convertible. It is equipped with a 460 horsepower Generation 3 5.0-liter Coyote V8 connected to a 6-speed manual or a 10-speed automatic. It gets performance brakes, a soft top with power assist mechanism, leather upholstery, wool carpets, and plenty of contemporary tech, including a central console with Bluetooth and iPad inputs. Chevrolet BelAir. The original marketing materials for the second generation of the BelAir labeled the convertible as the hot one. With its killer stance and Ferrari-inspired grille, the 1957 version rightfully became the icon of its age, alongside Elvis and Marilyn Monroe. The model was originally geared up with a 3-liter Thriftmaster and 3.9-liter Blue Flame inline sixes, or optional 4.3 and 4.6-liter small block V8s. No matter how potent in their time, the modern reimagining of the BelAir 06 that is currently on sale through Arcane Motors respectably declines their services. The outdated mills are replaced with a 7-liter GM LS7 V8 that brings 501 horses to the rear wheels through a 6-speed Tramic manual. The quintessential Chevy rides on modern coilover shocks, gets new Willwood braking power, and is finished in burning hot rod 2-stage exterior paint and custom leather upholstery. Shelby Cobra. The story of America's most iconic sports car began in the 1960s, when American automotive designer Carroll Shelby addressed the United Kingdom AC cars to adapt their own two-seater for Ford's newly developed small block V8 engines. After the initial success of the Mark I and II models, the ambitions of the project were expanded beyond what the original chassis could handle. As a result, Shelby and Ford had to develop a new platform in Detroit that would eventually house a big block side Oiler 427 cubic inches 7-liter FE engine. It was rated at 425 horses, but the current continuation models by Shelby carry new cast aluminum 427 blocks, which are 40% lighter than the iron originals and range between 500 and 700 horsepower. Today, the Mark III or CSX 6000 series Cobras are produced in aluminum and fiberglass bodies. They ride on 4-wheel coilover independent suspension and can do 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. Produced for 12 generations and a span of 50 years, the Eldorado was discontinued in 2002, but it is still remembered and loved by the true fans of American power. The Biarritz moniker was implemented for the first generation of the model to distinguish the convertible car, and it lasted through the 1964 model year. This 1963 unit is one of the last Biarritz cars produced, and it belonged to the 6th generation of the Eldorado and featured completely redesigned body, power drum brakes, and 143 different interior customization options. It has a power-upgraded top, new leather upholstery by Jenkins Interiors, upgraded factory power seats, and air conditioning. The underhood business is represented by the original 390 cubic inches or 6.4-liter V8 engine and a Hydra-Matic 4-speed auto gearbox that sends 325 HP to a rear axle with a limited slip differential. We are planning to make a follow-up video within the topic of classic American models featuring the most iconic SUVs and trucks. Make sure to like this episode and comment below saying more American classics if you want to watch it. Let's keep rolling. Dodge Evolution Charger by Speedcore. We all know the Charger as the most powerful production four-door sports sedan. However, if we were to backtrack its previous generations, the model has also existed as a subcompact hatchback, a luxury coupe, and finally, a fastback V8 muscle car from 1970s. Though a little too late to the party back in the day, the Charger still managed to make a dent in the Mustang sales and occupied a rightful spot in the hearts of the petrolheads. In 2020, this love is acknowledged by the Wisconsin-based tuning company Speedcore, who reimagined the model as the Project Evolution with a stainless steel frame, a full carbon fiber body, and just 3,200 pounds weight. The restomod was enhanced with a modern Speedcore-tuned 966 HP V8 from a Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. To harness this output, it also got a 6-speed manual Tremec T56 transmission, a rear-wheel drive system, Penske shocks, Brembo performance brakes, and forged HR wheels with Michelin tires. Lincoln Continental. The Continental range has its roots going back to the beginning of the World War II, when the first member of the family was introduced in 1940. The original model was built on the basis of the Lincoln Zephyr, but later the company created an entire Continental division, which sole purpose was developing and improving different variants of the brand's new flagship model. However, the biggest fame came to the car in the 1960s, when the entire Lincoln range was consolidated into one model. It was rebuilt from scratch by Ford's design vice president, Elwood Engel, and was offered as a sedan and a four-door convertible that you see on the screen. The 1961 model had rear-hinged rear doors, was fitted with a new power-upgraded soft-top roof, and came powered by a 7-liter MEL V8 and a 3-speed gearbox, topping at 300 HP and 465 pound-feet. We must also mention that two of the 1961 Continental convertibles were chosen to serve as the US presidential state cars, and subsequently, one of them carried President Kennedy and his wife when he was assassinated in 1963. Corvette Stingray C2 by Aries Design. In production till this day, the Corvette is one of the most loved cars in America, and the original C2 Stingray is probably its most recognizable version. The Italian Aries Design definitely agrees with this statement, but believes that it is still possible to refine the car even further. Their idea is to take the original 1964 C2 body and equip it with modern mechanical components and interior appointments. This transformation takes 3,500 man-hours. The resulting car sits on a new chassis with complete axles and suspension sourced from the 2017 VAT C7. The vehicle is powered by a Corvette LS3 V8 with 6.2-liter displacement and 525 horsepower output. Like a self-respecting muscle car, it has a manual transmission with 5 gears and reliable Wilwood brakes. As for the interior, it is hand-cut and sewn to the original pattern specifications with beautiful burgundy full leather. Chevy Impala Imposter by Fuss Design. During its history, the Impala has been discontinued several times and then reborn in new generations, the total number of which has reached 10 by 2020. However, those mainstream Impalas that have been on sale during the last 2 decades have nothing in common with the timeless classics of the 50s and 60s. Those sold over 1 million copies, becoming the world's best-selling full-size car at the time. The model you are seeing is based on the 1965 Sport Coupe and comes from the renowned automotive craftsman Chip Fuss. He took the skin from the classic Impala and put it on a brand new Corvette C6. To merge these two, The Impala was shortened by 14 inches and adopted C6 driveline, wiring harness, and electrical system. Most exterior parts, starting from the custom grille to the rear taillights, were hand-sculpted. Dubbed the Imposter, the spur is powered by the Corvette's LS3 V8 engine, upgraded with Magnon supercharger. (1962) Chrysler 300H. The so-called Ladder series were high-performance cars produced by Chrysler in Los Angeles from 1955 to 1965. The first 300 was equipped with a 5.4-liter firepower Hemi V8 that made 300 horsepower. Needless to say, all models from this range were extremely rare, with production usually limited to around 2,000 units. However, the 300 family has its leaders in terms of exclusivity, like the 1962 300H model. Only 435 coupes were produced, and just 164 survived till this day. RK Motors has recently sold one of such gems, painted in monotone formal black. The previous owner spent 10 years restoring the car to its prime condition, keeping most of the original metalwork and all the factory glass. The car is motivated by the authentic 3-speed automatic gearbox and a 6.8-liter V8 engine that still makes 380 horses. The cabin is performed in cracked cocoa leather by Gower's classic car interior restorations. Chevy Camaro Valkyria by Ring Brothers. Developed to compete against Ford Mustang, the first Camaro was sold between 1967 and 1969 model years, and it was offered in coupe and convertible body styles, both with 2+2 seating. The car had a conventional front-engine rear-wheel drive layout and came powered by a straight-six or a V8 engine. The last 1969 Camaro was facelifted, boasting new sheet metal bodywork, a redesigned grille, and updated headlights. 50 years later, this unique version of the pony car inspired Ring Brothers to build its resto mode, named Valkyria. It repeats the shape of the original to the inch, but in reality, it is all new inside and out. The body is almost entirely carbon fiber, and many of the parts are either 3D printed or CNC machined. The Valkyria's heart is a 6.8-liter LS3 V8 built by Wagner Motorsports, and it is assisted by the 2.9-liter Whipple supercharger. It boosts the power to 890 HP and requires the Bowler-modified 6-speed Tramic manual gearbox to steer all the horses. Do not forget to like this video and comment below saying more American classics if you want to watch an episode about the iconic SUVs and trucks. Subscribe to Automotive Territory not to miss the upcoming reviews. Ring the notification bell and proceed to exploring our playlists by clicking on the icons on the screen. May the torque be with you!